big developments for the month of April in immigration, especially for green card holders. These four groups of immigrants may see an advantage in the month of April and possibly the month of May. In this video, I'm going to explain the four groups of immigrants, especially green card holders, who may now be able to file petitions for themselves or for their families. I'm going to walk through these four different types of immigrants, how to file their petitions and applications, and why it may be beneficial for them to file right now. I haven't seen a month of April like this in immigration in a very long time, and I'm excited to get into it. And to top it off, a federal judge also issued a ruling that could help 900,000 immigrants. All right, so let's get into it. The four groups of immigrants who may have important updates for the month of April. And again, I love bringing this information to you, not only as an immigration attorney, but as a former immigrant myself, who has relied on petitions and applications like the ones that may be available in the month of April. All right, without further ado, let's go. Number 1. Green card holders. The F2A category is now available, and it is now current. So the F2A category is for green card holders who want to petition for their spouse. So what does that mean? It means that a green card holder can petition for his spouse who is inside the U.S. and is in lawful status, and it may be processed. Typically, only United States citizens can do that. Right before the green card holder would have to file that petition, they would be given pretty much a visa number. Then they would have to wait some period of time before it became current. But now, in April, the F2A category is now current. So if you are a green card holder and you have a spouse that is here in the U.S., you may be able to petition immediately, similarly to a United States citizen. You can go on the visa bulletin and you can see all the information there for the F2A category. Green card holders, this is an amazing opportunity for you to file for your spouse. But remember the key, your spouse cannot be here without lawful status. Your spouse must be in lawful status. And that means also if they're here on a visiting visa. So now is the time to take advantage of that for green card holders. Huge right now, and it's also for the countries who have always had significant backlog like India and China. All right, number 2, group of immigrants, EB2 employment-based second category. This visa is now current. So, if you are an immigrant and you have an employer that is willing to petition for you or who has petitioned for you already based on your skill, experience, and qualifications, they can petition for you and it may be available for you to file right now. That category is now current and there are more visas available. Also, if you're an employer, this is great news. You may be able to have that employee get their work permit within 3 to 4 months and then their green card later. There is less waiting. This is a great opportunity. In the EB2 category, what is required? It is required for the employer to give the employee a job offer. That's the first thing. Number 2, there needs to be a labor certification. There has to be a labor certification which pretty much says that you have advertised that job and a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident cannot fill it. And number 3, that immigrant has to be beneficial to that business. They have to have some type of degree or advanced degree, or if they do have only a bachelor's, they have to have progressive work experience. Great opportunities. Amazing for American businesses. Amazing for employers. And also amazing for employees. And the same type of update may also apply for the EB3 category. Number 3, asylum seekers. This category has been paused for a long time, but they have now resumed processing. The administration has stated that they will now resume processing for asylum seekers that are now in the country. However, of course, there's an exception. This is only for asylum seekers who are from countries designated as lower risk. They're not from countries designated as higher risk. They're from countries designated as lower risk. And of course, the administration will determine which is considered lower risk and which is considered higher risk. And 2, these asylum applications, they have to be screened and vetted. But the good news is that they are now processing because there has been a major halt on asylum. But good news for asylum seekers because they are now resuming processing. And number 4, last but not least, a federal judge has stated that the administration unconstitutionally revoked 900,000 CBP One parole entries. So under the previous administration, 900,000 immigrants, they legally entered the country through the CBP One app, and they were paroled into the country. However, once the administration changed, some of these people received letters stating that they needed to depart the country, and some of them were even placed into removal processes. The federal judge has stated that this was unconstitutional, and they need to pretty much get back their status. They need to be reinstated. So, this is a win. It may allow for people who entered who were vetted and screened through the CBP One app to be able to move forward with other processes. So, if you are one of these 4 groups of immigrants, if you are a green card holder, now may be the time to file that I-130 and that I-485 to adjust the status of your spouse. Of course, you do have to prove that it is a bona fide marriage. And yes, lawful status can include a visiting visa. And the second group of people, it's the EB2 and the EB3. Now may be the time for you to file that I-140, right? And to also file your adjustment of status. That is what current means when it relates to the visa bulletin. So if you're an employer and you've been waiting, now may be the time to file the adjustment of status. Or if you are that employee that has been waiting, you can ask for that job offer so that they can start the labor certification process and then actually start filing with immigration. Number 3, asylum processing is now back. So now may be the time where if you feel like your asylum application was not strong enough, right? Meaning you sent in a basic application, now may be the time for you to amend it, right? Get those affidavits. Make sure that you have current country conditions. Make sure you have all the evidence that is necessary for a strong asylum case, right? And a lot of times, asylum cases are decided based on credibility, how well you will testify, how well or how strong your affidavit was, to show that you did belong to a certain social group that suffered some type of persecution and that there is a legitimate fear of returning to your home country, but also because the government did not try to protect you. And last but not least, for the people who entered on parole through the CBP app, now you may be able to come out of the shadows if you're still here. You may have lawful status. Now you may be able to file, right? And you may potentially have an asylum claim if you have not filed it as yet. So big month for immigration, and I hope this information was helpful to you. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment if this was helpful to you, or if you think it will be helpful for a friend or a family member. They could be an athlete. They could be an entertainer. They could be an employer. They could be an employee. If it's helpful, let them know about it. The time to act is right now.